Hello, everyone, and welcome and thank you for joining me today on a festive sewing and embroidery session using the PFAFF Creative Icon 2. You've probably noticed I have a little bit of a sore throat. I'm hoping the voice will last this whole hour because I'm so excited with all the different projects I've prepared for you. So I don't know if you realize, but Christmas is just around the corner, and so I wanted to I wanted to work on a few elegant projects, creative ideas that combine embroidery and sewing. And so I've made two projects, and now's the time for me to share them with you. So the first one is actually napkins for your dinner table. And so I had a lot of fun. I'm going to go through the whole process with the napkins. And also, for more of the fashionistas, I've actually played around and made a festive blouse, customized from a standard blouse that I purchased in the store. And I'm going to show you how I was able to create all this fun, give actually a whole makeover to a store-bought blouse. So I'm also going to be showing you a new stitch, well, a few stitches actually, some old and some new. And I'm actually going to, at the end, show you the new fringe stitch that is available on, and that how you can download it on a machine that doesn't have it right now. So let's start with the napkins, shall we? So let's just do a quick close-up of the project here so that you can take a look at it. And so here we go. Now, I don't want to spend time showing you how to physically make the napkins. You'll see that it's a double ply. We have linen on one side and cotton on the other side. So this pattern is available. You can check, there's one of our PFAFF dealers that actually made that pattern, and you can see it in the description. There is the link to the pattern so you can take a look at it. All right, so do go and see it there. And also all of the different designs, embroidery designs that you will see throughout the show, they're also in the description. So I want to concentrate on how I added embroidery onto the linen portion and how I had a nice finish for the hem using wing needles. So basically, let's start with the embroideries. All right, so this one is a beautiful sketch Christmas tree that you can find in the design catalog of our CREATIVATE software. So you can go onto the website and you will find that sketch. So it's really elegant. It's tone on tone. If you like to have something very subtle, very calming for your Christmas table, then this is the one to use. And if you want to also, you can have fun, and that's what I want to show you here. So this is actually, I went and used a Christmas theme font that you can find on in the embroidery software. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's begin by going into the embroidery software on your computer. So Amy, if you can just confirm that you are seeing my screen right now.
Yes, we are in your software, Claire.
Perfect. So, of course, to be able to get all of the different various fonts, you do have to have the Essentials membership of CREATIVATE. And see, right now I am in the letter tab. And this is where on the left-hand side, you can go and choose from various fonts. So I am in the fun category, and you can see right here, you have the Christmas fonts. And so I've used the letter C, and you can change the size if you want to. I just kept it at C, at 50, I mean. And then by clicking apply, you have the letter, the font in that Christmas design in the center of your hoop. So that's how you get it. And then to send it to the machine, we can press on the cloud here. You see that my machine is already connected via CREATIVATE, so I can just send it to the PFAFF sewing machine. And if you want to go back, I'm just going to go back now to the regular cameras so you can see that it has appeared onto my website, onto the screen. So let me just move this out. And so here is the design onto my sewing embroidery unit, and it's ready to go. So that's how easy it is to send it over. Before continuing now, I'm going to show you my tricks on how to make sure that I'm positioning the embroidery at the right location. So first of all, I'm going to make a small recommendation. If you want to make these napkins, I've realized that if I fold my napkin to put it onto the dinner plate, I realized that I've positioned the embroidery completely in the wrong location. So I really wanted to put it in this area so that it looks nice when it's on the dinner plate. So how to do that? First of all, you're going to be embroidering on your linen before the napkin is done, right? So you're going to have a bigger piece. Make sure that what I do is I actually just fold and I create a crease so I know which corner I can start designing. I'm going to go back to the other camera so you can see the rest of the work. And here we go. Now, so what I have here, I've already hooped it, but I want to show you the thought process behind it. So you see, this is the corner of my napkin. The crease in the center was right here and here. So that center line, that vertical line is actually the crease in my napkin. How did I determine that this was the line that I wanted? I took my design that I had printed, always print one of your design true to scale, and I actually positioned it. So let me just grab my napkin again, my test one. I can see exactly how low I want it from the center. And that's how I was able to decide where to put it. And that's my trick when I print out these papers. I always have a little hole in the middle. And I also fold it to see where the line in the middle. And so let me just do it now. So I am folding it in half. So my creases are also on the paper. And then it's easy to use my marking tools to be able to mark my center, the top, the bottom, the left, the right. And then I create the mark, the plus sign. And so then it's easy to hoop, aligning it with the notches. So now I know that I'm not going to have that much work to do to put it in the hoop and have my embroidery dead center. And then I can really start doing the embroidery. So that's my little trick to do the embroidery part. And then, of course, I follow along the pattern to finish up, to stitch everything together. So I have my 2 plies. And then I decided, because you could just finish off like the pattern say, just a straight stitch all around. And I'm not sure if you can see it. It's very, very small because I used a very thin thread. And then I decided to use a hand stitch, which is more of a needlework. And by using the wing needles, it gave me a heirloom effect. So I'm just going to try to put a piece of white paper underneath so you can see how, let me just zoom in, that heirloom effect has kind of like these holes in using the wing needle. That's how you have these little holes, and you can get a very nice heirloom effect on your finished product. So that's actually I actually really love using the wing needle anytime I make garments or home decor using linen. It's the perfect fabric to make any of those designs that kind of like reproduce a lace effect, just like the vintage garments or I'm sure if you're lucky enough to have that at home, you know what I mean. So I was able to finally understand how to make it, and I'm going to share that with you. So first of all, the wing needle, let me show you what the wing needle looks like. All right, so let's go back to this camera here. And so this is the wing needle. And so it's, if I put it on one side, it's just as thin as a regular needle, I guess we can say. But then you'll see, and that's why it's called a wing needle, it has kind of blades on both sides. And so what that does is it actually opens up. That's what makes the hole. But in order to be able to make the hole, the needle does have to go through a few times to be able to have a very nice effect. So you need to select the correct stitch to be able to create that effect. Meaning that in that stitch, the needle has to go back and forth like 2 to 4 times to get that hole in that specific area. So that's what the wing needle looks like. So it's rather large, wide, but it's like having 2 blades on the sides. So I have done on the sewing machine, and I'm going to show you how to create the design. So first of all, you need the right needle. And then, as I said, you need the right stitch. So how can you find the right stitch on your machine? So here's my trick so that you can remember. So here we go. Sorry, I want to share so much information, but I've got to pace myself one thing at a time. So here we go. I am back in sewing mode, and I'm going to go and select the stitch. Now the stitch is in needle art, and it is in the needlework stitching. So here I have 21 stitches, but not all the 21 can be used with a wing needle to create that effect I'm showing you. So how can you tell when you're all alone at home, right? So that's my trick. And you can use it for any stitch if you're wondering what that stitch can do and what is the best way to use that stitch. So let me go back here. You see the question mark on the top right side? You press that question mark. Now you see it's kind of like throbbing and moving in another color. That means that it's activated. And then you simply have to select a stitch, and you'll have a pop-up stitch, a pop-up screen giving you information on that stitch. And you see here it says decorative heirloom stitch. When using a wing needle, maximum stitch width is 8 millimeters. So this is how you know that you can use that stitch with a wing needle. Now, why does it say 8 millimeters? Remember, I showed you how the needle is wider because of the wings on the side. So you cannot go to the maximum width because you need to have to be able to have that needle come down and doesn't touch the edge of your stitch plate. So that's why you do need to follow the instructions. Okay, so going back here, you can see that all of these are actually, you can do those stitches with the wing. And again, if I click here and I go to this stitch, it says smocking. There's nothing talking here that you can use about a wing needle. That means that do not use that stitch to make a delicate lace as a hem. So I'm just going to stick with that one. And again, if I want to double check, I just press the question mark. It says that it is the right, it is meant to, you can use it for with the wing needle. So I'm good to go. And this is actually the stitch out that I used on that specific project on the napkin. So I'm now going to go and add the sewing star foot, which is actually my favorite foot to use when doing that project. And so the sewing star is attached. Now you need stabilizer, and this is a sample of the linen that I'm using. Now to have a nice effect, I'm going to double fold it because the project is double folded also. So I want to show you exactly how it's done. And of course, because I have projection, if I am using, if I want to do the stitch onto to make sure that I'm following that edge here, I did use projection to make sure that I was following along the line and I was going exactly where I needed to be. So that is something to remember to use. That projection is such a great tool to have. So I'm just going to do a few stitches so you can see what it looks like. I'm using pink because I'm using pink thread, very thick pink thread, so you guys can see it from home on the camera. If I would really be doing my napkins, I would use a very thin thread. I want to because it's a delicate. It's not a huge hole, right? And you want to see the hole, so you want to have a very thin thread so that it doesn't take up all the space in the of the hole. And I like to have it the same color as my fabric. And so this was probably a rayon, like embroidery thread, or even you can go with a very like a 60 weight, whatever you can find that has a sheen effect also. I remember I did some linen pants in the summer, and I did a beautiful finish in the bottom of the pant using that stitch with the same color thread, so you can see the holes. They were very as I said, give the lace effect. So I'm just going to stop repeating myself. So here we go. I'm just going to go back here, get my hand out of the way, and just do a few stitches so you can see what it looks like. And of course, the machine, you love it. It tells you that, you should be using the IDT. So let's bring that IDT down and help us get a nice straight line. And here we go. So you'll notice that the needle goes back and forth a couple of times within the same hole. And that's what you want to be able to get that lacy effect. So I'm just going to stop it right here, raise the foot, and I just want to be able to show you what it looks like. So let's go to this camera. And so here's the design. Here's what it looks like. And again, it's difficult to see because let's get a closer look. At least you can see the stitch. To see the hole, it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe if I go with the black in the behind, but because I still have the stabilizer underneath, it's more difficult to see. And it is a very thick, I have a 50 weight cotton thread here, as opposed to here a thinner thread. You can really see the lace effect. I hope you do. But you know what? Get some lace back home and give it a try. It will become one of your favorite stitches to do whenever you can. Trust me on that one. So that's how I actually did the napkin. So again, go to the link. You'll see that you can get that the pattern to make the double ply, and then just add a beautiful embroidery to the linen part, and then finish off with a nice lace a vintage hem stitch with the wing needle to have a beautiful project for the holidays. And so I'm still going to continue because I would love to see how it would look with, and I'm, the hamster's going. I would love to see how it would work with some metallic threads. But again, the thread is thicker, so we won't be able to see that much of that lace, those holes that the wing has done. And remember that just like for any other needles, the wing needle have different sizes as well. So the thicker, the bigger the number, the bigger the needle, the bigger the hole will be. So those are, I know I'm giving you lots of information, but I just really want you to have fun with it, test it, and see what's your favorite part. So that's for the napkins. I'm just going to go back to you, Amy, and see if there are any questions.
No questions, Claire, but definitely but interest in learning about the wing needle. So that was fantastic.
Great. All right, perfect. So now that, just want to make sure that I've got everything's ready. Okay, so now that we have done all of the table's going to look beautiful. And mind you, I've made so many more projects, but I only have an hour, but I'll save it for next year. I want to talk about how you can, again, improve your fashion for the evening as well. So I know it's been a big thing to have the ugly Christmas sweaters. I personally do not want to wear an ugly Christmas sweater. That's why this year I decided to go with a cute Christmas blouse. So let's bring that one back. So here is the Christmas blouse, and I'm going to show you all the different designs that I've done on it. So first of all, I have Santa going up the chimney, going down the chimney into this front pocket. I thought that was a lot of cute, and it was cute to do. There's also an applique fabric in that design, so I'll talk about it a little bit later. And in the back, I have the holly border to decorate the whole back of the blouse. I'm going to show you how I did that, because basically that design is also in the design catalog on CREATIVATE on the website. So this is one of the design, and I repeat it again on this side of the blouse, but I wanted to join them. I didn't want it to just stick on both sides, so I just had to play with it to get those 3 stars in the middle. I'm going to show you how I did that. And then, because it wasn't enough, I wanted to add something festive on the collar, and that's when the fringe stitch came along. So that's what I did to just, go from a plain blouse to a very nice Christmassy blouse for the holidays. So let's go and show you how all of this is done. So first of all, Santa in the chimney. Let's go back here so I can show you. So this is the design. And of course, I always print the design, and you have here, sorry, let me get this straight. I always print it out, and it gives you all the colors, and you can either change the colors to the one you need or just mark down what you're going to be using in terms of colors. And the 100% true to scale this embroidery design, I also print out, same thing, folded in half, just like I showed you for that font, Christmas font. I have my hole in the middle, and you probably have noticed here that that chimney has been cut off. Why did I cut off the paper around it? Because, like I said, I wanted that Santa to be just under that pocket. So I wanted to make sure that this would fall into the pocket just a little bit. So I had to position everything to make sure that it would be exactly where I need it. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So first of all, I recommend, I strongly recommend having yourself or someone wearing the top, and then positioning the design to make sure that it looks exactly, that you're going to be happy with the final result. Always looking at it, first of all, on yourself. That's the first thing. So you can pin it down, and then you can put it back onto the table to do the rest. So here we go. So if it's been pinned down here, I'm going to go and mark the center with a marker that will disappear. You don't want it to stay there. You're going to mark on the left, the right, the top, and the bottom here. All right. And then you'll make that cross to be able to position your project. So here's another blouse that I have, and I've marked that cross. The cross is marked before being hooped, obviously, okay? And then while you're hooping, you're making sure that those notches are aligned with that cross, which means that when I can double check now, my embroidery is going to be embroidered here, and it is underneath that pocket. So I am happy. All right. So I'm now ready to be able to send that design onto the machine itself. So I'm going to do a few things here. Might as well show you. So I'm going back to embroidery, and I have nothing on my embroidery in the machine. So I'm just going to go grab my design and send it to the machine you can do that either from directly from the CREATIVATE website, or you can save it on your computer, whichever. Yeah, one thing I do want to say here, the design catalog, there are two things. To be able to get the design catalog, you need to at least have the essentials membership for CREATIVATE. And then you also need to have a Wi-Fi connected machine. So you need to be able to put your CREATIVATE account on your sewing machine. So Creative Icon 2, of course, not a problem. Same thing with the I'm having Creative Expression 750, the new one. That's a Wi-Fi compatible, and also the Creative Expect 350. So there are lots of embroidery machines that have that connectivity. There are even more than what I just said, but just so that you know, you need to have that connectivity on your machine, and you need to have the essential membership to be able to grab that Santa down this chimney that's in the design catalog. So having said that, the embroidery is now in my machine, and I have hooped my blouse into onto the hoop. So now I'm just gonna want to double check one last thing, because I don't want to embroider over the pocket, right? So I need to make sure that my pocket is out of the way. So I like to use my projection in that at that time. So let me just show you here. Now I am going to turn on the projection. I am still in embroidery edit. All right. I am not stitched. I haven't gone out to the stitch out mode. I'm still in the edit. And I'm just going to remove the wing needle before I forget. And remove the IDF. So there we go. I am hooping. Yeah, maybe I can show you what I'm doing right here. So the hoop is now onto the machine, and I'm going to go back to this screen saying, okay, the hoop is attached. Let's go back here. And you see, I have this pop-up that shows me that I can move the hoop to be able to see the projection. Actually, you kind of see it a little bit here, but let me just move over here just a little bit. So now what I want to do is make sure that my Santa, the chimney, is really going to be starting below that pocket. So what I'm going to do now, because you see here, I don't see the bottom of my design, I'm going to go here and I'm going to move my hoop upwards so I can see the bottom of my design. Okay, so just a little bit more. All right, now you can see the whole bottom part of the design is there. And now I am going to pull out my favorite, most useful, non-FAFF related masking tape. That's my favorite tool that in my sewing room that's not FAFF related. So I'm going to just tape that down onto the hoop so that I know that when it's going to embroider, it's not going to embroider over my pocket. All right, so that's the trick I wanted to show you. It's kind of, you sure having projection helps you ensure that you're good to go. You're not guessing it. You know that it's all right. So once that is done, then you can get out of projection and go into your stitch out mode, review all of your settings. Don't just make sure, go through the whole thing to make sure that everything's all right. And then you will be ready to begin embroidering. I'm not, but I just wanted to show you all the little tricks. So Amy, are there any questions so far for this part of the project?
No questions about this yet.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to take that, push this out, and I'm going to move on to the holly, I guess it's holly, not holy, holly border. And here it is. So I'm just going to move to the other camera to show you all of how I managed to get that done. So now here we go. Here's the project. And again, I printed out, no surprise, I printed out the design and I marked down where I wanted to be it to be on the left. So of course I made a hole in the middle. I drew my line here, 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 and here, and then made my X so I knew where that would be. And I would also do the same thing on the other side and make sure that everything would follow along. So then I stitched it out and I still had this hole, you see? So this was here and this was here. I knew I could fit in that section 3 stars. And so how do you do that? How do you get those 3 stars to join the 2 pieces so it looks like one nice big embroidery? So this portion was done again back onto the embroidery CREATIVATE embroidery software. And in this instant, I would suggest you would need the elite membership to be able to go and play in the modify section. So I'm going to show you that part now. I am going to go onto the computer and select that design. And so there it is. Amy, are you also with me?
We are there. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So it's really simple once somebody shows you how to do it. All right. So remember, this is the tab that I'm looking for, the modify. So if you do not have the elite membership, that tab is not going to appear. But look at how much fun it is. I mean, it's so easy once you get it. So basically, I'm in modify. And on the right-hand side, you see all of the different threads that you need to use to do the design. So I'm just going to unmark these 4, which are actually the stars. You see how the stars have completely disappeared? So everything else I don't want to be using. Remember, I just want to have the 3 stars. So basically, I'm going to go select all visible. So all the designs that I can see right now, by selecting this, they all pop up. You see how they are all showing. And all I have to do now is press the delete button. So I'm going to select the delete button here and they're all gone. Isn't that fantastic? So now I have the top line, the bottom line, and the 3 stars. So now I'm going to remove stitch 2 and stitch 3. And so I have just the top and the bottom lines. Now I've tested this a few times already. I would have loved to kept the lines and stitched it, embroidered it at the same time, but they were too difficult to get exactly the amount that I needed. And I felt that it was simpler to just do a simple triple stitch straight line in sewing mode once everything was finished. So I've selected all of those. And again, I've deleted it. And so that would leave me just with okay, so I need to select that and delete that one as well. So now I'm just with those stars. And I only need 3 stars. So now I'm going to go and select the box and highlight everything up to that star. And again, delete. And I am now left with just 3 stars. And so I can position them in the center to help me position them later on. But this is how you get to those last 3 stars to be able to embroider them. So once you know, it's really simple. So I'm just going to move out back now and ask Amy if you have any questions.
I don't see any questions about that, but there We are happy that you have reminded us about printing out the design in order to see the actual placement on a garment. It's one of those things that we always forget about until somebody reminds us about printing out the design. So great reminder, Claire.
Glad, happy to help. So I don't know how I did that, Amy. I've lost my original screen. So as long as you know that you can see me, I know you guys all see me. But I've lost that other screen. I only have my I only have my software screen. So you're good. You're still with me?
We're good. Yep, we're on you right now.
Okay, perfect. All right. So now that we have done the back, I want to show you how to do the fringe. So the fringe stitch, if you're wondering, oh, that's funny, I've never seen that fringe stitch, you're not alone. That stitch is brand new with the launch of the Expression 715, Expression 725, and Creative Expression 750. Those three machines have this new fringe stitch that is in the machine itself. But that doesn't mean that everyone else cannot use it. And that's what I love about PFAFF. So in order to be able to do that fringe stitch, you do need a specific fringe foot. And so what they've done is that if you go onto the PFAFF website and you go into the accessory section to find the fringe foot, you're going to have on the right-hand side with the description a link to go and download the fringe stitch. So the fringe stitch, yes, that makes sense. That's what I wanted to say. So I actually went myself, tested it out before, and put it onto a USB stick, and I was able to put it to save it onto my sewing machine. So the Creative Icon 2. So I'm going to show you where it is now. So I'm going back into sewing mode, and I go into the folder section, and you see fringe stitch. There is my stitch. So I just have to double click and it shows up onto my screen, ready to be used. Now, if you go into the edit section, do not touch anything in that section. That stitch has been designed to make those, I mean, the whole thing, you do not want to play with any, you don't want to edit. That's, if there's one stitch that you cannot edit, it will be that one, please. You'll just test it out and you'll see how fun it is to use. So let me show you quickly what the foot looks like, okay? So I'm just gonna zoom in so you can see it a little bit more. So this is the foot, okay. So the foot, I'm just going to fold it. You're going to see that it has this, yeah, you can see it here. It's like a metal, like a, if you've had any of the foot with the guide, except that this guide is actually going upward. Okay, so it has a metal plate in the middle, and that is what allows us to get that fringe look. So this is, if you want to just see, so it's a decorative fringe foot. And let me show you samples that I've made of that foot, that stitch. So this is what it looks like when you are done, when you move it out of the machine, right? So it's very high, the thread rises high, okay? And all you have to do after is just go with a pair of scissors and just cut out the top. This has been, you can tell it's been traveling with me. So then once you've cut that loop, that upper loop, you really do get a fringe effect, okay? So this purple thread here is actually a cotton 50 weight thread. Cotton threads tend to work best when doing fringes. And so this was the first test. This one was, this is the fringe with the 50 weight simple. And this one, too bad you guys cannot just put your finger on it with me, because what I did on that one is I actually couched a piece of yarn underneath before doing the fringe on top. and it really gives a much fuller effect. So you see the difference between this one and this one? There's just a yarn that's been couched underneath. I did the same thing again with 40 weight cotton thread. The fringe does feel thicker, fuller, and underneath I actually went with satin stitches underneath. So you can play with that thread, that stitch. You can add things underneath before actually doing the fringe on top. So it's really multi-purpose. And this one here is actually a 30 weight thread. And God, if you could put your finger in here, this is the effect that you would really enjoy. So if you have 30 weight cotton thread at home and you don't know what to do with it, you want to go and try some fringe. So let me show you now onto the machine. I am going to add the fringe foot, but before I add the fringe foot, I am going to put a regular needle because you do not want to use the wing needle on that design. So I am now going to pop in a new one of my needles, and because it's remember, like, yes, there is a self-threading, a fully automatic threading system on the Icon 2, but it only works with needle size 80 and over. So if you have a size 70, 75, you do need to manually insert, do the threading. And I always use my tweezers to thread my needles. So here we go. We are ready. I am popping in the fringe stitch, not the fringe stitch, the fringe foot. And I have a lot of tongue twisters again today. So now it's ready. I am going to use stabilizer, always use stabilizer. I'm just going to use that linen that I had and go right here. And I'm going to lower the speed just so that you guys can see exactly what it does. Okay, let me zoom in just a little bit. Here we go. So I know I have slowed down, but it is a slow stitch because it's going to be doing kind of like a satin stitch, left, right, and then it's tying off on the left and tying off on the right to make sure that that thread is not going to start unraveling when you cut the fringe. So you'll see it popping up in the back right now. So the fringe is now visible in the back. And so I tend to not use the IDF system because you don't want the IDF to go over the fringe. So I'm going to stop now. I think I've done enough for you guys to see exactly how it works. You need to push the fabric back so it gets out of that plastic, out of that metal groove on top. And here you have the a nice fringe. So that's how I actually did the collar of my blouse, and all I have to do now is cut the top part. So I love to use these let me just zoom out now because you guys can't see that tipped embroidery scissor, so I can just go ahead and cut it out, and I have a beautiful fringe. So you see now it would look fuller if I would have used like a either couched a yarn underneath or just did a satin stitch underneath to be able to have a beautiful design. Okay, so are there any questions, Amy, with regards to the fringe?
Yes, we actually have a couple of questions about that. The first one is, what weight thread are you using in the bobbin when you're doing the fringe stitch?
Good question. So in the bobbin, you could use just like I God, I'd like to buy a vowel right now. It's like everything's running in my head. So what you use when you're embroidering. So if you have that 60 weight polyester thread, like those pre-wound bobbins, you can put that underneath because the design, like I said, do not touch the presets in the editing part of that stitch because the tension is already set so that your top thread does go down. So it's not going to go back up. So I would definitely use a 60 weight, like any bobbin, pre-wound bobbin for embroidery. That's what I would go for. Yeah.
Excellent. And then the second question is, somebody wants to know if you've got any yarn handy, or if you can show how to do that with the yarn over it, or even the satin stitch, doing it first and then doing the fringe stitch on top of another stitch.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to be looking in the back. So here, let me just put this on because I think I can definitely do that. I just have to grab a few things. Oh, Dad. I just got to find some yarn. And I always have yarn hanging around. And just so you would know, right now, oh, yes, I do. Okay, life is good. I have found yarn. And now all I have to do is find my yarn couching foot. All right, so let's go back here so I can show you. This is the yarn couching foot that I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do is simply take that yarn, put it through here, and then push it through underneath here. All right, oh, that was bad. I wasn't even in front of the camera. Okay, so that's how I prepare the foot. All right. Now I am going to go to my machine and I'm going to select kind of like just a zigzag stitch. So let's try this one. I'm going to go down to 3 mm wide. And I guess I could leave it there. Obviously, you would use a thread that is the exact same color as your yarn because you don't really want to see the yarn afterwards. And so I'm just trying to find where did I put that piece of fabric. All right, so let's just do that right now. And I am here. I am putting stabilizer, I'm putting fabric, and I'm putting the foot underneath right here. I have my zigzag stitch, and it is recommending the IDT. So let's pop it in. And so basically, I am going to, that's how you couch your yarn. As simple as that. I'm going to stop now. We're going to move this out and cut the thread. So I've done the couching, all right? And so now going back to my fringe stitch, okay? And did it, oh, let me do that again. I got it pressed twice. And here's the fringe stitch. I am putting back the foot right here. Sorry for my big hands that are in the way. And going back to the beginning, bringing the foot down. Now I have the red line. Let me see if you, there's a red line in front of the, let me zoom in. You see that little red line? I just love that all of these feet, they always have a red line exactly where you need to know where to be aligned. So I want that red line to be in the middle of that yarn, and I can start sewing. And of course, my bobbin thread is running low. And so I'm still going to do a few stitches so that you guys can see. And I'm just going to raise it, move to the back, and then cut the threads. And so let me just go to the other camera. It's probably going to be simpler here. So you have that fringe popping up above the yarn, and then we can cut it open. Now it's like several colors, so you can clearly see the yarn versus the fringe. But if they were all the same color, it would all be the same. And mind you, this is 50 weight cotton, so and that's a very fluffy yarn. So I would go with a 30 weight yarn to do that. But I hope that helped to understand. I hope I've answered the question.
And I do see one other question. If you can recommend, or maybe you can talk through it quickly, just how to get that stitch, that new fringe stitch onto their machine if it's not
Yes.
built in.
Okay, so let me go into PFAFF.com. And once I'm there, if you can see my screen, if you want to
Yes,
share the
I've
screen.
got you the website on your screen.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to write down fringe foot, and there is the decorative PFAFF fringe foot. I'm going to select that here. And if I go down, you see, click here for the new PFAFF decorative fringe stitch. So if I go there, and it actually popped up right here. So then I can open it. And do you want me to do that also? Or, once you're there, you just open it. It's a zip file. You open it, and then you save it onto your USB stick. So that's how you get it. Right now, you see it's right here. And if I were to go into my file explorer, into oh God, come on, in the downloads, there it would be. So you can just go extract all, and then I'm extracting it in downloads. So that's really just how to, and then I just wanted to go here. And so, and there, and then I extract it in my downloads. And so here it is. And that's the one I would go and save onto a USB stick. I don't have a USB stick with me right now, but then I would pop it in right here, and going into the files right here. If you pop in a USB stick, you would have My Sonet and then a tab, My USB. You would select the USB and you would find the stitch right there, load it onto the machine, and then you could go, once there, you could go here to save it, and then you could save it onto your machine right there. Does that make sense, Amy?
It made sense to me. So we'll wait and see if people make any comments on there. But it's yeah, that seemed pretty clear to me.
Okay, perfect. So, if there, let me see, what time do I 5 minutes left, but I had a surprise for you. I have 5 minutes, so I can still try to do the best of it. Because I was hoping that we have one last moment. So one last thing that I can show you. In CREATIVATE, on the website, in the design catalog, we have projects that come up every month. It's a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed the ones that just popped up I think it was a few weeks ago, and they are, or you can create ornaments. And
Claire,
so those
will
are
you bring
easy.
the camera to you?
It's, oh, so sorry.
There you go.
I was sure it was on. Okay, thank you, Amy. Sorry, guys. So here are the Christmas ornaments that they're really easy to do. So again, you have to have the Essentials membership to have access. That you have all of the PDF that explains to you how to do it. But it's basically a project in the hoop. So the first thing, though, you do need to sew this section. So you sew 2 strips together and you leave an opening in the middle. And from there, you have, I used fleece. You have, I did so it's a project in the hoop. So you put stabilizer into your 120 by 120 hoop, and then it stitches out a circle. So then you put the fleece over that circle, and and then you can add, my God, I think I lost a piece of it. I had 2, but I guess, sorry, I got so excited. But this is, once it's done, so this is the bottom part. Okay, so I put the fleece first, and then you add a 1 piece of fabric to do the first portion, the round portion of the ornament. And then they ask you to add another piece of fabric, a little square that you sew into place to do that little upper portion of the ornament. And then you can add ribbon, and then the backing. So it stitches all over again, the backing. And then because you have that little opening, you can cut all around, keeping like 2 millimeters all around. Don't cut the excess of your ribbon, though. Not that it happened to me, but if you cut it too close, it's going to, fray, and the ribbon is going to fall off. So do keep a full length of the ribbon, and then you can flip it around, and then you have beautiful ornaments. And you just need to finish this by hand. And if you're like me, you can just like tape it, or use steam a seam just to like get it to hold it together and steam in place, so you don't even have to hand stitch it. So they're a lot of fun, very easy to do, and they're just perfect handouts also during the holiday season. So there's so many things to do. There's so many creative ideas if you on the CREATIVATE website. If you're lacking ideas, I hope that I gave you enough ideas to get started going to the CREATIVATE, going to get that download at the PFAFF dealer for those doubles ply napkins. And so I'm really hoping that you can try to have fun for the next couple of weeks. I think we still have 3 weeks before the holiday. So have fun, create just 1 or 2 projects just to get the hang of it. It's really, especially these ornaments. I mean, if you're feeling a little bit not ready to go into the full blouse, at least the ornaments are going to give you confidence, to build your confidence to make more. And next year you'll be ready to flash that beautiful blouse with all of those different designs on it as well. So I'm hoping that you've enjoyed this Facebook Live, and I want to wish you a very warm and creative holiday season. Thank you very much.